Nobody sees it coming when the kindest person in the room finally walks away. They don't yell. They don't argue. They don't post dramatic quotes. One day, they're fully there. And the next day, they're emotionally gone. And the scary part? When a kind person leaves, they don't come back. So if you've ever wondered why the most patient, understanding, loyal people suddenly become cold, distant, and unreachable, this video is going to explain exactly what happens inside them before they break, and why once they do, something in them changes forever. Kind people don't break because of one big betrayal. They break because of 1,000 small ones. They are the ones who say it's okay when it's not okay. They are the ones who understand everyone's trauma, everyone's stress, everyone's bad mood. They justify behavior that hurts them because they can see the bigger picture. They didn't mean it. They're just tired. They're going through something. Empathy becomes their default setting. But here's the dangerous part. Empathy without boundaries turns into self-betrayal. Most kind people were conditioned early in life to be this way. Maybe they were the mediator in their family. Maybe they were praised for being mature and easy. Maybe love felt conditional, like they had to earn it by being low maintenance. So they learned something subconsciously. If I am patient enough, calm enough, understanding enough, I will be loved. And because of that belief, they tolerate more than they should. But what nobody sees is the silent scorecard building inside them. Kind people don't always confront you. They don't always demand change. But emotionally, they are recording everything. Every time their feelings are dismissed, every time effort isn't reciprocated, every time they show up for someone who wouldn't do the same, resentment doesn't explode. It stacks quietly. And because they don't express it dramatically, the other person assumes everything is fine. Until one day, something small happens, and it looks insignificant from the outside. Maybe it's a canceled plan. Maybe it's being talked over. Maybe it's feeling unappreciated. One more time, and suddenly, something shifts. Not into rage, into clarity. That's what makes it different. When kind people finally break, it's not emotional chaos. It's emotional certainty. It's the moment they realize, I have been overextending myself for someone who would never stretch the same way for me. And once that realization hits, it's almost impossible to reverse. Because they didn't act impulsively. They thought about it for months, sometimes years. They gave second chances, third chances, silent chances you never even knew about. So when they detach, it feels sudden to you, but to them, it was overdue. People always say, why didn't you tell me it was that serious? But they did. They just not loudly. They hinted. They communicated softly. They tried to explain without making it a fight. But when someone is consistently understanding, you stop taking their discomfort seriously. You assume they'll adjust. And kind people do adjust, until adjusting starts to feel like erasing themselves. Here's the psychological shift that happens when they finally reach their limit. They stop trying to prove their loyalty. They stop over-explaining. They stop chasing closure. And they stop believing that love requires suffering. That's the transformation. They don't become cruel. They become selective. They realize that being kind does not mean being endlessly available for disrespect. And this is the part that shocks everyone. When kind people break, they don't look broken. They look calm. They look peaceful. Because the chaos was happening internally for a long time. The overthinking, the self-doubt, the am I asking for too much? Once they choose themselves, there's relief. And relief is quiet. A lot of kind people struggle with self-worth more than they admit. They believe their value comes from being needed, from being reliable, from being the safe place for everyone else. But once they understand that real love is mutual, that a dose in tea requires self-sacrifice, as proof, their tolerance drops. And the version of them that accepted bare minimum effort disappears. This is why when someone says, you've changed, they have pain matured them, awareness hardened them. Not in a cruel way, in a protective way. They learn that if they don't set boundaries, resentment will do it for them. And resentment is far more destructive. If you are the kind one watching this, understand something. Reaching your limit does not make you heartless. It makes you human. But don't wait until you emotionally shut down to set boundaries. Learn to say no earlier. Learn to disappoint people before you disappoint yourself. Because once you break, you won't just lose others, you'll lose the softer version of you too. And if someone kind has recently walked out of your life and you're confused, it wasn't random, it wasn't impulsive. It was the final straw on top of a pile you never noticed building. The kindest people don't suddenly become cold. They become aware of imbalance, aware of their worth, aware that peace feels better than proving loyalty to someone who never fully valued it. And once they taste that peace, they never beg for crumbs again. If this made you uncomfortable, good, that means it's real. And if it resonated, you already know. The breaking point doesn't happen in a moment. It happens in silence. And silence is where the strongest transformations begin.